MTG Scoundrels. It's in the cardboard. Ladies and gentlemen, scoundrels of all ages, welcome back to another episode of Modern Weekly. Today on the docket, we have ourselves some Badgermole Combo versus Domain Zoo, and of course my low voice. Getting things started off here. Looks as though both players keeping 7, and here is a Leyline of the Guild Pact as a pregame action. Taking 2 off of Steam Vents. I can't tap for anything, though. Domain Zoo is stuck around despite the banning of Flage. It's had many different iterations. Here's a Windswept Heath. It's going to get cracked. Going to 17 apparently. Finding an overgrown tomb. And I believe I saw a halfling in hand, so we'll see if that is the first play. And there is the Delighted Halfling. Untapping and drawing. All 5 colors available. Here's an Arena of Glory into a Leyline Binding. Passing from there. Slowing down the ramp, not a bad option. Definitely makes turn 2 a little bit different for these Badgermole lists. And that could be Badgermole Combo here, or even Devoted Druid, etc., etc. Here's Green Sun Zenith. After playing a Dryad Arbor for turn, getting another Dryad Arbor to get the ramp started, looks like. So we have double Dryad Arbor out for the Badgermole Combo list. And 2 mana for Domain Zoo. There is an island for turn. And here's a Territorial Kavu. And passing. Deciding not to haste it out here. So we have 2 Arbors staring down a 5/5. There's a Forest. And here's a Summoner's Pact. Finding an Ouroboros. Well, that's aggressive. Here's 2 mana for a Badgermole Cub. And now 4 mana for the Ouroboros. And that is what this deck will do. Incredibly good at getting wide. Moving to combat. Counters will go on all the creatures. 1 counter this time around. And passing the turn. Here's a tapped red-blue Surveil land. Into a Teferi Time Raveler. Going to bounce the Ouroboros to draw a card. Not a bad option, to be honest. Keeping up the Kavu. And the Badgermole Combo player paying for the Summoner's Pact, trigger in the upkeep. Arbor tapping for 2 for a Springheart Nantuko on the Badgermole Cub. Specifically bestowing it onto the Badgermole Cub. Land for turn. Trigger. In response to the trigger, I'm going to go ahead and fetch. Finding a forest. Another trigger. I would presume doing it in this way probably means making a copy of the Badgermole Cub? Yes. So one green insect will be made off the Nantuko, in this case in the form of a deceased artist, and a copy of Badgermole Cub will earthbend onto one of the forests. Passing from there. Fifth mana for the Zoo player. Ticking up the Teferi. And the Badgermole currently sitting at a 4/4. The copy is still a 2/2. And Tuco does give +1/+1 to the creature it's bestowing. So Lightning Bolt going to deal with the excess Badgermole. Then followed up with a Legend of Roku. Exiling the top 3. Alright. There's that Hitasugu Saga. Another Bolt and Scion of Draco. So if that Draco hits the battlefield, math will get much more complicated. That was a Hitasugu Consumes All, excuse me. That's in the exiled cards. So now this is a matter of how much mana. At least that would be my guess. Currently on board, 9 available. So if there's a Green Suns in hand, Craterhoof is on the table? Well, that's definitely at least 10 mana. Finding 2 more creatures, essentially, off of that Nantuko. Also not paying for a Badgermole here, it looks like. And deciding to just overpay here. There's the Green Sun Zenith. Eight creatures on the battlefield. The Nantuko's bestowed, but the Craterhoof is the 9th. So the Craterhoof's going to be a 14/14. The 1/1 insect that doesn't have summoning sickness is going to be a 10/10. And the Badgermole is going to be a 13/13. So that's 3 creatures that'll come in on, or at least come in with haste and trample. Well, the Craterhoof has haste, but trample specifically. And 2 of those creatures will be unblocked. So that's more than 18. Just checking their math there and scooping them up. Game 1 going to Badgermole Combo. Thank you all for watching us here at MTG Scoundrels. If you enjoy our content, please like and subscribe. Be a friend, tell a friend. Check out our last video, which involved a fun prowess list that wasn't totally optimized and hardened scales. That was quite the match. So definitely check that out. And of course, check out our last video that involved the meta before the Pro Tour. Very informational, definitely worth checking out. Moving into sideboards, Badgermole Cub combo here, probably just bringing in Chomping Changeling. Probably not too much else, because there's already a Grist in the main board. That can really help. I'm bringing in 5 here, so maybe also bringing in the Ouroboros. That's not a terrible option either. And maybe the Elder Gargaroth. In terms of Domain Zoo, probably just bringing in Wrath the Skies. And could also maybe see another couple pieces of removal come in as well. So this is a slightly different list. It is playing Kroxa and it is playing Hitasugu in the main. So we will see what actually will be its choices here. Moving on to our ads, definitely check out our friends over at Grove Warden Games, hosts of our channel, and a wonderful place to store them out. Link to their websites in the description below. And they're going to be doing a relaunch of their website here very soon. We'll have some content coming out with that. So definitely check that out. And of course, check out our friend Sean Gerard, artist of the channel. If you're needing new art or just looking to pick up something in a professional setting or a gift for a friend, this is a great option for you. Instagram up on the screen, email in the description below. They are open to new projects. And last but not least, check out our socials. We are at MTGScoundrels over on Blue Sky, Twitter, and Facebook. Most active over on Blue Sky. And of course, active in the comments below, where you can let us know that you got to this point of the video, as well as what decks you expect to move to the top of the meta moving into the regional championship season. Now that RCQ season is just about wrapped up and the Pro Tour is wrapped up here as well. And with that, we'll move on to game number 2. All right, moving on to game number 2 here. Badgermole looking to be on 6, it looks like. What to put back here? Didn't quite see what it was. But either way, Badgermole's going to be on 6. Oh, excuse me. Actually on 5. Alright. Badgermole on 5. Both players starting with ley lines. Raucous Theater for the Domain Zoo player. Passing the turn. Here's a Forest into Aquarian Ranger. A key part into getting extra mana. Polluted Delta here for the Zoo player. A lot of Zoo lists now. Okay, here's a Territorial Kavu. A lot of Zoo lists now are playing Psychic Frog and Quantum Riddler. Overgrown Tomb coming in untapped, bringing us to 18 to 20. And here is a Badgermole Cub. Oh, looks like a Tyvar and a Springheart Nantuko in hand. Activating the Quarian Ranger. Going to return the Forest. Tap for 3 mana, including 1 black. And here is Tyvar, Jubilant Brawler. So I'll make all creatures for the Badgermole player coming in be able to activate immediately, which for mana purposes is pretty strong. Looks like as though trying to figure out if they're going to plus the Tyvar to untap for more mana. Looks like minusing the Tyvar here. Oh, Chomping Changeling going in the bin. That's a little unfortunate. Can't get that back with Tyvar. But still, possibly 7 mana the next turn for the Badgermole Combo player. A lot of math for both players here. Land for turn. Four cards in hand for the zoo player. Polluted Delta getting cracked. Possibly finding a shock land? Sometimes you just crack fetches when you're the domain player, just trying to get lands out of your decks. That way you just draw gas off the top. Granted, that's been mitigated a little bit better now that Riddler and Frog tend to be in these lists. But in the Flage builds, it always seemed like you'd end up flooding out. Deciding to go with a Steam Vents. Two mana for a Croxa, Titan of Death's Hunger. So now the Badgermole Combo player is going to have to figure out whether to discard the land or discard the Springheart Nantuko. Oh, taking 3. So taking the 3, keeping the Nantuko in hand. Croxa will go to the graveyard. Attacking for 5 with the Kavu. And deciding to let the Tyvar go here. Untapping. Oh, drew another land. So there's 3 mana, 2 of it being used for Springheart Nantuko. Onto the Badgermole Cub. Landfall trigger, paying the 1 floating and the 1 to make a copy of Badgermole Cub, earthbending onto the other forest. So now each mana creature makes 4 mana. And passing from there. Zoo player going to go ahead and go fetching. Bringing us to 15 to 12. Don't know if I've seen any actual white sources out of this zoo list. But there's a Triome. So that may actually be it. In fact, that is a Endotha Triome. Untapping from there. Thundering Falls, surveilling. Tacking in with a Territorial Kavu, putting an Arena of Glory in the bin to draw a card. Here's a Ragavan and another Territorial Kavu. And passing from there. Well, what do we got? So there is the possibility for up for 12 mana. Currently sitting at 10 to 12. So 8 mana, 4 mana, untapping. Oh, this is interesting. So 4 floating mana, playing a land, triggering the Nantuko, paying 2 mana to copy the Badgermole Cub. To then Earthbend onto the forest that was bounced a hand off the Quirion Ranger. So back where you started, but with 1 more Badgermole Cub and more mana. And there's an Elder Gargaroth. I mean, if that's one way you want to block a Scion if it comes down, it's not a bad way to do it. And passing from there. I think one of those lands needs to be tapped. Never mind, I was wrong. 8 mana was tapped initially, then untapped one of the lands, returned the land to hand. So 6 mana for the Gargaroth, 2 mana for the copy of Badgermole Cub off the Nantuko and the land entering. And currently has 10 mana available, possibly more. Not enough to do the ley line twice, but definitely enough to do it once. Kavu gonna come in. Trigger on the stack. Discarding a bolt to draw a card. So the Zoo player looking at Kroxa as they're out here. The Gargaroth going to get in front of the Territorial Kavu. There'll be a trigger on blocks. Deciding to make a 3/3. Could have went for the life gain or the card draw. Instead decided to make the board wider. There's a Wooded Foothills. And yep, going to escape Kroxa from the graveyard. So dealing 3 damage to the Badgermole player, bringing us to 7-12. End step. Looks like activating the ley line, putting a counter on everything. Technically, there's a +1/+1 counter on the 3/3 beast. But just signifying with it being a 4/4. All right. We'll see what comes off the top here. Plenty of mana. And Craterhoof Behemoth off the top. And that'll do it. Game, set, match going to Badgermole Combo. Thank you all so much for watching us here at MTG Scoundrels. If you enjoy our content, please like and subscribe. Be a friend, tell a friend. And we will see you all next week.